Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.
Under the Fair Use Act, these videos are for information and educational purposes, and I do not own the rights to any of these videos that are shown. All rights reserved to the original content creators.
Yo, what's going on? It's your boy SL550, and this is the Never Gonna Lose Again podcast, man. Before we start, man, make sure you like, share, comment, also subscribe. Help your boy on the road to monetization. Hit that subscribe button for your boy. Also, hit that notification bell so you get notified every time your boy go live, man. So, how can I put this? So, earlier, I had somebody jump in the comments, and it's crazy. I mean, it's not like a lot of people. It's only a few. It's not that many. I kind of get more, like, good comments than negative ones, like people actually, supporting the channel. Like, what's funny is, so the way I do my channel on this one, it's more of like a reactional channel, to be honest, but I do give my opinions on, certain topics that's going on, right, in politics. So this is more like a politics channel, right? And I play mainly other people's content. Sometimes I throw things from the news stations or whatever the case may be, inside of whatever the show is, right? So it kills me when people keep telling me, yo, you need to do your research, right? And I'm just thinking in my mind, like, bro, what do you think? I just get on camera? I'm reacting to people that I follow and I respect in this field who this is what they do all day, every day. They drop 2-3 videos a day. They're 100% in on this. Not saying that I'm not. I'm just saying that I'm not big enough to make this my full-time job. So I rely on, and this is why I say in the beginning that all, credit is due to the original content creators that created these segments that I react to. These are people who do their information, and I also fact check it myself. You know what I mean? I'm into these stories. I follow what's going on. It's just funny to me, that these people tell me these things. And then, I got time. My channel's small right now, so I got time. I got time to go back and forth with a few people, right? And this guy is telling me that I'm putting out garbage, even though I'm putting out guys like Devoid Dawkins, who is a, ex-army guy, follows politics well, isn't, obviously is more than likely conservative. I'm not going to speak on him and what he stands on, but he's more than likely leans more conservative, more right wing, but he's, also very, most of the people I put on, obviously they support Trump and things that he's doing, but they also will, speak against Trump on things they dislike. Same thing with me. I've already made it clear that I don't like every single thing that Donald Trump does, but in the totality of things, I do fuck with things that he is doing because he's doing things that are American first policies, and I'd rather that than what the left is pushing. So anyway, it's just like yesterday. So I guess people were triggered. Well, not people. A specific person was triggered yesterday because I was posting videos. And the reason why I posted videos before I actually went into the actual segments that I wanted to speak on of Biden, killing, during his administration. I'm not going to say Biden killed these people, but he was involved with it. His administration, his military at the time did strikes on civilians, killed civilians, innocent people in Afghanistan. Obama did a lot of drone strikes, and they were saying that these strikes actually hit U.S. citizens, troops. I'm assuming. So I just and the whole lies about Trump putting kids in cages and all of that. My point, my response to him was everybody. It was pretty much a bipartisan issue on immigration. Literally up until Joe Biden, Democrats and Republicans were on the same page as far as getting illegal immigrants out of the country. This is not a secret. But all of a sudden, during Biden's administration, for some reason, they loved having all of these illegal immigrants come over the border. And Biden was quite loud about it, too. That he, and his reason for doing it was, if they're, running for their country and they're seeking refuge, then we should take them in. Cool. But it should be done the right way. He didn't do it the right way. He just loaded people on planes, did all of these sorts of, just letting them come over the border, ports of entry and things like that. And now we got national security risk, National Guard troops getting shot at. Oh, it's just so much garbage going on, bro. People getting the R word, women getting the R word, bro, what are we talking about? It's just common sense. So I just wanted, before we get into the two videos with my guy RJ Talks and Brian Maxwell, I wanted to play this because this is my thing, period, when it comes to life in general. Like, I would never claim that Donald Trump is a perfect person. That's just dumb. But I don't think none of us are, right? So when it comes to the presidency, yes, does a person's character play a part in it? Of course, right? But my thing is what they do. What they do in their personal life and stuff like that, that's their business. And, but my whole thing is we're not going to sit here and act like the media and the Democrats haven't put so many lies on Donald Trump for years. Come on, bro. And I'm going to just play two. And these are major things. This is just two situations that Donald Trump had to go through. And they were using this specific one right here up until this campaign, even though this past campaign, even though they knew it was a lie. So let's talk about it.
Just a week ago yesterday was the third anniversary of the events in Charlottesville. Close your eyes. Remember what you saw on television. Remember seeing those neo-Nazis and Klansmen and white supremacists coming out of fields with lighted torches, veins bulging, spewing the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. And remember what the president said when asked? He said there were, quote, very fine people.
Just look at and I remember when, this is just, I don't know why, but I'm just thinking about when Dame Dash was talking to Charlemagne when he was on his podcast when he was on the radio show not too long ago. And he was explaining to Charlemagne that things that you be saying, right? People listen to your show, they respect it, right? You have a following, a large following, and you say things that are false with conviction, like as if it's the truth, like it's the gospel. And that's the problem. Joe Biden right here is saying this same thing that we all know was a complete lie if you actually watch what Trump said. And we'll get into it.
On both sides.
And it's you who claimed that white supremacists are good people.
Saying neo-Nazis had good people among them and all that.
I'm old enough to remember, by the way, when it was considered insufficient, rightly, for the President of the United States to say about Charlottesville that there were bad people on many sides. There were bad things happening on many sides, on many sides. That was his original statement. It drove a lot of ire, including from me. Go back and listen to my podcast that day. Trump's statements in the aftermath of Charlottesville provided aid and comfort to white supremacists. I don't see any way around that.
The media has really completely distorted the truth of that episode. What he meant, and he said so when he said it, is that they're fine people who want to get rid of Robert E. Lee's statue, and they're fine people who are not haters, who believe for historical reasons they want to keep that statue. And he made that clear. And then in the same breath, Mr. Gomer, in the same breath, President Trump said, quote, I'm not talking about the
neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally. And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
And yet the media has never made that clear, that he, in that statement, he condemned neo-Nazis and white nationalists. He did not mean that they were fine people. Quite the contrary. He's disgusted by those people.
He didn't say they were good Nazis and
He said there were good people on both sides
Yes,
on the Friday night.
Many of those people were there to protest the taking down of the statue of Robert E. Lee. So I noticed that Stonewall Jackson's coming down. I wonder, is it George Washington next week? And is it Thomas Jefferson the week after? I've condemned neo-Nazis. I've condemned many different groups.
I don't like any group of hate. Hate groups are not for me.
So, you had that Define People hoax, right? Where they literally ran this everywhere on the media. And that's the problem with media today. And this is why people don't have trust in the media today. Because they take these stories, they clip it up, and they make it sound like something that it isn't. When you go back, they clipped it everywhere. This is not nothing new. This is old, right? But up until the campaign, when Joe Biden was still on the campaign, right? They still was using the same thing, bro. Even though they know it's a lie. This is why I have no faith in these people, because I watched them. It's not hard to do the research. All I had to do was go look at the original video that when Trump had this speech, and listen to him. Literally, they clipped it, and right after what he said, and I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white supremacists. I totally condemn them. I've seen Donald Trump multiple times say he condemns that. Multiple times, even though they keep asking him, and he keeps condemning it every time. But they'll still call him a white supremacist and all of this stuff. It's garbage, right? So then, and I'm going to get into this clip from Tim Pool with Brian Shapiro that they had, because he's another Trump hater, right? And my thing is this. I'm just able to see things for what they are. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I really don't care about none of that shit. My thing is, I care about, at this point in my life, who aligns with my values, right? And the things that I believe in. And who's close to that, because I'm not expecting somebody to be me, you know what I'm saying? But who aligns with things that I agree with. I voted for Trump because of his policies, not because he cheated on his wife, not because he was considered liable for rape or whatever the case may be. But let's get into that now that I bring that up. So Jean Carroll was the woman that he was considered liable for, that everybody like Brian Shapiro says over and over and over again, right, about Donald Trump. This is the woman who he was considered liable, whatever the case may be. He was never convicted, but said he was liable, whatever that is.
I just say it's a fight. That way I'm not the victim, right? I'm not the victim.
You don't feel like a victim?
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not sexual. It hurt.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
We're going to take a quick break. If you can stick around, we'll talk more on the other side.
You're fascinating to talk to.
So look, listen, bro. This is the woman, right? She be painting trees. Listen, bro. This is the woman that they get on TV and spew a bunch of garbage saying that Trump, raped this woman right here, bro. Come on, stop. She even said he didn't throw me on the ground and ravish or whatever. Like, bro, the woman is crazy a little bit, to be honest with you. But that's the woman that they're accusing, that they're saying that Trump. But it's all, listen, they do these things. They go after Trump. They put him through court and all of this stuff. He got to go back and forth to court for these trumped up charges that they put on him. And, it is what it is. He deals with it. He's beating all of these things. You know what I'm saying? I'm not playing this to try to make Trump out to be this perfect man, because I don't think Trump is perfect. I don't think Trump would tell you that he's a perfect man. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, they continue to lie about him, right? And now half of the nation doesn't like Trump or calls Trump all of these things, all things that they hear on TV. Most of the time when you see these, I see plenty of podcasters who do little street conversations, and excuse me, they they ask questions about Trump or different things, and I've seen plenty of people, make talking points that they've seen on CNN. Oh, he's a rapist, or how? Oh, he did this, he did that. Who said he did that? When did they do? They don't have the actual information. Now, I'm saying that because this is a prime example. This guy right here is Brian Shapiro. He hates Trump with all his life. He hates Donald Trump for whatever reason. To me, hate is a strong word. I guess you can hate people, but I mean, doesn't even know Trump. He probably doesn't even know this man, but he hates him anyway. He was on with Tim Pool, and this is a prime example. Now, this guy is on Piers Morgan. He's around. Like, I don't follow him or nothing, but I'm pretty sure he has a decent, nice following and everything. So this is what I mean, that guys like him get on YouTube and spew a bunch of, hypotheticals and things that aren't facts. You know what I mean? So Tim Pool had a debate with him, and we're gonna play a segment of it. It was much longer. If you want to check it out, go to Tim Pool's page on YouTube. But check this out.
I'm gonna try this one more time. If you keep making non sequiturs,
it's not a non sequitur.
It is, because I asked you a question, you've ignored it.
I haven't ignored it.
What was the case?
So here's what I know about the case. Okay? It's very simple.
Yeah.
Unlike Barack Obama, which you had mentioned he's a murderer, you don't want to talk about the fact that that's never been proven in a court of law. But what
does that have to do with what I asked you? Tell me about the E.Jean Carroll case.
Because a jury found him liable for sexual abuse. I don't have to know everything about the case.
No, you just believe what you're told.
To you. No, I believe in our justice system.
Let's do this.
I believe in our justice system.
Here's how I operate.
He believes in our
I will hear a claim and I will fact check it.
Sure.
And try and dig through the facts to see if there's merit. You will believe what you're told.
So everything on the right when it comes to Donald Trump, there's no merit to it, even though he's a convicted 34-count felon. But those were made up. Right, sure. And then
you don't even know the crime.
I don't have to know the crime to know that a jury found him guilty.
Now look, Tim, this is a perfect segment right here, because this is literally most people that argue about him. Now look, like I said, I'll say it again. Donald Trump ain't perfect, bro. I don't think anybody would really say that, to be honest with you, including Donald Trump. You know what I mean? But the insane things that they, put on him, it's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. And this is the reason why The View, they always coming up with these legal notes and stuff, because now Trump is suing these people for defamation. And he's winning because they say these things and have people like you and me who are watching it, who, may even, look up to these people to a degree, right? Especially for at least information, and they're wrong. But they say it with so much conviction that you think they're telling you the truth. And now you go out into the world and you're telling your friends, oh yeah, Donald Trump is a rapist. Donald Trump is this, and it's just bullshit and a lie. And this is the reason why half of America hates Donald Trump.
You can disagree with the outcome.
You do.
I disagree with the OJ.
Nelson Mandela was a criminal too. He got locked up.
Hey, sometimes the justice system gets it wrong. I think we could agree on that.
So if you
not
don't,
my Trump, they got better defense than the glove doesn't fit, I think.
I think the question, you know what? We can just pause right here and say to everybody who's listening, I think my point is I can tell you the facts of these cases and why I have doubts, and you don't know anything about them.
So here's a fact. Donald Trump is a 34-count felon. You can disagree with it, but you can say incorrect till the cows come home. He wasn't sentenced, but he was convicted on 34 felony counts. Now, you can disagree with that. Okay, you can disagree
Name
with
the crime.
That's fine.
Name the crime.
You don't have to name the crime.
Yes,
He's
you do.
a 34-count felon.
You have to name the crime.
Okay, well, listen.
So again, I will say it to the audience, he doesn't even know what the charge was. He doesn't know who was accused of falsifying what.
I named you a few. I don't have all 34 charges in front of me, but it doesn't, just because I can't name the charges.
Wouldn't it be prudent of you to actually investigate these things before parroting them to a large audience?
I'm not parroting them. All I'm simply saying.
You can't even explain what your position is.
Just because,
what did Trump, let me try this. Let's slow down. What do you think Trump did wrong in that case?
You're talking about E. Jean Carroll, or are you talking about
no the business records case? What did he do wrong?
Well, falsifying business records was what he was charged with.
No, what specifically did he do wrong?
What specific?
What do you take
falsifying
issue
records? Falsifying records.
Which records? I'm asking you the specifics of what did you find that he did wrong.
Here's my point.
You don't have an answer for it?
I'm going to answer it for you.
Are you going to give me a specific example, or are you going to change the subject again?
I'm not changing the subject. We're talking about this.
So what did Trump do wrong? Say Trump did thing. Tell me.
Okay. Here's the answer that I'm going to give you. I don't know all the ins and outs of this case.
Well, then why are we talking?
Here's what I do know. Regardless of what your opinions are on the case, and what you might think are valid that he didn't do anything wrong, what you might think are valid that he never sexually abused a woman, here's the bottom line, whether you like it or not. A jury found him guilty on 34 counts that you obviously disagree with. Whether I know the ins and outs of the case is irrelevant.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is that he is a 34-count felon. The fact of the matter is that he's a liable sexual abuser. Liable.
Actually, so this is actually legally distinct to be.
He wasn't sentenced. I understand.
Therefore, he's not a felon.
I understand that.
There has to be the final.
I understand.
Right, so he's not a felon.
I've said that multiple.
So listen, and that be the thing that I hate the most is that he's technically not a felon, but y'all keep getting online saying he's a 34-count felon. But that's not even the point here, because this is the thing, bro. I've been through the court system. I know how it works, bro. Like, I've been through it. I've seen people lose in trial, come back on appeal, and go home. Like, the system, the system is justice when it defines his point. But sometimes they get it wrong. Come on, bro, stop. At the end of the day, bro. Guaranteed, like, not gonna say guaranteed, but more than likely, them felony charges, guaranteed on appeal, they get overturned, and they won't come out and say, "Oh, we apologize for calling you a felon for all of this time," even though he's not even a felon. You know what I'm saying? But they do these things. Understand, bro? You got these Democrat judges and things like that. These people, it's politics, bro. Come on now. We know the lawfare that they used against Donald Trump. Come on, it's not a secret, bro. You know what I mean? And I guarantee you, bro, he gets back on all that back on appeal. But that's not even the point. The fact of the matter is, this guy gets on these podcasts, say these things, but I respect what Tim posts. What is it? Like, give me factual information. When people say do your research, right? Doing your research would say, which I don't know too much about the 34-count felony. I just, know that it's bullshit, more than likely, because most of the shit they put on Trump is trumped up charges. You know what I mean? They just want to use these things to make them look bad for the election, but they lost. They ended up still losing. So it didn't even work. But we know that's what they do. During the election time, bro, they go hard. They're going to say and do anything. Look at him right now. With the whole, he's a war criminal because he's stopping narco boats that's bringing over drugs that's killing Americans. He's trying to protect Americans, and they're calling him a war criminal. Come on, bro. Stop.
I agree he's not a felon.
Okay. The reason why he wasn't sentenced is because he won the presidency.
Well, it's under appeal, actually, and it's been over a year since the appellate court was prepared to issue their ruling.
I'll tell you what,
done it.
If he wins his appeal, I will come on this show and I will say, Tim, I was wrong.
No, you won't.
No, right.
Hold on. We agree, though. He's not yet a felon until he's sentenced.
He wasn't sentenced. I've said that multiple times. A jury convicted him on 34 felony counts.
Of what?
Again, there you go back again, trying to quiz me on what the.
Okay, here's my point.
Because he don't know, bro.
That's the only point I
don't know why you're here.
I don't know what you mean.
We're not debating.
Okay, well,
like a debate's like this. Donald Trump did a backflip, and here's why it was wrong. Well, actually, backflips have been long protected. I'm saying Donald Trump was accused of these specific things, and you say, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, then we're not having a debate.
No.
You're just saying I read in the news Trump was convicted, and I say, okay.
Okay,
well, it's important to drill down because then you can compare it to other similar situations and whether people have been charged by that, and then that's the way that you can suss out whether it was lawfare or something
indeed,
unusual.
But even outside of that, it's that when an individual is convicted of a crime, it is prudent of a society to analyze whether or not this is a legitimate use of the judiciary, of our legal system.
So you don't like people that accuse other people of things.
And the point I'm making is, I don't believe law dictates morality. I don't believe just because something is legal, it is correct. And I don't blindly trust when an authority figure says, trust me, this person's bad. That's why I oppose the death penalty, because there's going to be some authority figure says, you don't need the facts of the case, kill this man. I'm going to say no. So in the issue of Donald Trump in New York, he was not actually legitimately charged under any crime, and it's unprecedented in U.S. history. Trump was charged under 34 counts of misdemeanor, falsification of business records with no underlying crime. They then said, okay, I guess, upgrade it to a felony. Everybody said, well, hold on a minute. This is why it's currently in appeal, because Trump was never actually charged with the underlying crime required for an aggravated charge. It's never happened before.
So let's just say you're 100% right, and I'm 100%.
But look, he's given factual information. Now, that's what he's saying. He said, I am. He said he's right. I'm going to believe what he's saying on this. You know what I mean? Because he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. Like he did his research on this case. I didn't. So I'm going to take his word for it. My whole thing is that's not even the point. The point is he's coming with information about the case. The reason why it's unprecedented. He's coming with, I heard this on CNN and that's it. Come on, bro. Stop, bro. We know that they use propaganda on a regular basis. And we know Trump is their number one enemy. Same thing with the Epstein situation. Guy hit me earlier. Oh, you know Ghislaine Maxwell was on trial to 2023. That's why Biden didn't drop the files. Okay, what about 2024? What happened in 2024? Biden was still in office. His administration was still in office. Why didn't they drop the files then? The same way y'all trying to accuse Trump now with redacting things and taking out what he wants. It's the same thing Joe Biden and them maybe have done. We don't know. We don't know, to be honest with you. But the fact is that we know that they truly don't care about the victims. We know this. Because every time they bring up Jeffrey Epstein, they associate Donald Trump with it. All they care about is trying to make Donald Trump look bad. That's it. That's their whole game plan with everything that they do. Oh, let's trump these charges up on them. We need to make them look like a felon so people won't vote for a felon. Like, it's all about power, getting back into power. It's all they care about. Right now, their focus and main focus is winning the midterms and getting back the House and the Senate. That's their main focus. But it's just funny, man. I just wanted to play that real quick. We can end it. We can end that Tim Pool and Ryan Shapiro segment. Because I just wanted to show, because that's kind of like how most conversations with these people are. You know what I mean? Like come on, bro. If listen, I'm just the type, if Trump does something I don't like, I'm going to say I don't fuck with that. You know what I mean? But he hasn't done anything that's like crazy. Like the things that they say is crazy. Like, oh yeah, I don't fuck with that. Like Donald Trump definitely has said wild shit before, for sure. That I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird, but whatever. People weird, bro. It is what it is. But when it comes to being a president and policies and things like that, listen, you had Donald Trump and you had Kamala Harris. It's that simple, bro. That's our republic. It is what it is. This is how things are ran. It was Donald Trump, Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? And then me just looking back on things, I just see how much they lie on Donald Trump. So it's just like anybody, bro. You just lie all the time. I got cousins that just be lying for no reason. And so now when I can't believe much you say to me. I don't know if you're telling me the truth. It's the same thing with this stuff. You know what I mean? You hear the stuff that's going on in the news. You don't, and that's the messed up part about the news, is that you don't even know if you're getting real information, bro. And that's why I like YouTube, the YouTube platform, and these different TikTok and social media, because now you have people, and there's people that's, that's good at this, bro. Like people really full-time journalist type motherfuckers doing their research and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, and now you're able to get information from different people and not just dependent on the news to give you information, because we know that the news forever be lying. They paint the narrative that they want to paint, the narrative that they want to give the American people, bro. That's just what it is. I don't know why people put so much trust into politicians, bro. I just don't. I just see how much they try to criticize Trump so much. And I'm like, damn, well, the things that I'm seeing, I kind of see him like doing things that is for America. And I fuck with that. You know what I mean? Like, people could bitch and complain about the tariffs, but for me, I look at it and say, all right, he's trying to bring, countries to the table and make deals. And he's doing that. Like, trying to get getting illegal immigrants out of the country who are definitely 1,000% sure soaking up hella resources. And we're going to get into that because we're going to tap into a story with Brian Maxwell in California with Gavin Newsome. And this is what's going on across the nation, especially in these Democratic states, bro. It's out of control. And this is what I will keep saying. They don't give a fuck about us, bro. All they care about is continuing to rob us. The government doesn't run without us. There's shit. The government ain't the government without the taxpayer. And all where you keep allowing these people, you keep voting for these people who are going in and are not doing shit for you, shit for your town, shit for your state, and all they're doing is stealing, robbing, becoming rich. All of these politicians are millionaires. It's crazy. They come in worth a nickel, leave worth 200 million. Shit is wild. Anyway, on to the next
It is Wednesday, December 3rd, and major immigration raids beginning today in Minneapolis. The Great Somali Roundup has begun. Strike teams deployed to round up the illegal Somali community, and Democrats losing last night the Tennessee special congressional election after all the hype, all the money the DNC pumped into that race, and they lost. We'll look at the results. We'll show them to you, the reaction from the media and from Dems, the cope, and what it could mean for next year for the 2026 midterms.
We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. That's a fraud. She tries to deny it now, but you can't really deny it because, it just happened. She shouldn't be allowed to be a congresswoman, and I'm sure people are looking at that. And she should be thrown the hell out of our country. And most of those people, they have destroyed Minnesota, okay? Minnesota, you have an incompetent governor. You have a crooked governor. He's crooked as hell, but he's incompetent. Walz he should be ashamed. That beautiful land, that beautiful state.
So it's been a week since investigative journalist Chris Rufo with the City Journal exposed how Minnesota's Somali community stole billions with a B in tax dollars, which, if that wasn't bad enough, the scheme didn't just steal the money to enrich themselves like most thieves or crooks would do. No, they didn't even keep it. They didn't keep the money for themselves. Instead, they sent the money back to Somalia to a terror group, Al-Shabaab. Chris Rufo.
So let me say this real quick, right? So is this a lie? Is this fraud that Donald Trump, the administration, and other people, is it fraud? Or are they really stealing this money? We know they're stealing the money because leadership in Minnesota came out and said it. They said they were trying to stop it. They alerted Tim Walz, and he was stopping them from stopping the fraud. Is that a lie? It's crazy. Told you. All they want to do is steal the money. That's it. They just want to rob us, bro. I'm not sitting there saying that every single politician that's in the government or any, people that are in the government, everybody is a bad person. I'm not saying that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good people in the government that want to do good. but they're not able to, and they're stopped from doing good because of crooked people that are in the government. Let's be honest, bro. The government ain't what you think, bro.
Posting on X yesterday how it started, how it's going. This was the original article that kicked all of this into motion. The largest funder of al-Shabaab is the Minnesota taxpayer. Fast forward 1 week, and what do we see? Every single legacy outlet has now confirmed the reporting, leading to the New York Times myopic piece yesterday. New ICE operation set to target Somali migrants in Twin Cities. The Times reporting how the Trump administration has just launched a massive ICE enforcement op in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, set to target the 40,000 foreign-born Somalis living there. Omar Fattah, the man who just lost the Minneapolis mayoral race, writing on X last night, ICE has been seen all over Minneapolis abducting our neighbors from the streets and their homes as part of their operation. Please share this thread with your friends and neighbors to make sure they have access to the resources necessary to protect each other. This operation has deployed what they're calling strike teams inside the Minneapolis-St. Paul region to deport Somali illegals. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hare forced to go out last night on live TV, like you've seen all of these politicians, all of these local leaders do. For some reason, they come out and they pander to this community, to the Somalis living in Minneapolis. It's just crazy, odd. Watch what this police chief did. He came out and told Somalis to call 911 if ICE shows up wearing masks and make arrests, promising that police will immediately respond and intervene.
I want to know, why are these people going so hard for these illegal immigrants, bro? Does it make sense to you? Is it adding up? I'm just trying to figure it out. I don't understand why. What could be the reason why you want to bring 10 million, 20 million, whatever the number is, we truly don't know, right? All of these people into this country. For what? What's the reason? You telling me that many people are seeking refuge from their country? It's unsustainable, bro. But why? It ain't because they love immigration. They never did anything like this, bro. This is so uncommon. Like every president before Biden, including Obama, and Biden was his vice president, believed in illegal immigrants not being in the country and immigrants that do want to come in this country coming in the right way. So what changed from Obama to Biden? What changed? Nothing. Nothing changed. The only thing that changed was Biden fucking up the country and them wanting to get a new voter base in here. Why are they going so hard to not pass this SAVE Act? It passed in the House. Why couldn't pass in the Senate? For what? Why wouldn't you want? Come on, you need documentation to buy many things in this country, bro. To go to many places in this country, you need. Why not make it to where you need documentation proving that you're a citizen of this country to vote in federal and state elections? I don't understand that. I mean, I believe that that's probably like a 90-10 issue across the board. I believe every American doesn't have a problem with going to the voter booth and saying, here goes my birth certificate or my social, or whatever the case may be, whatever they're asking that you may need to vote. Because that's the only way you eliminate people that aren't here legally from not voting. But they don't want that. They don't want that. So hey man, and the amounts of, we're going to get into that, but the amounts of money that they are giving these people is insane, bro. Insane. It's crazy.
Really?
Folks that are masked, that they're not sure if they're law enforcement, that they may be kidnapping people. Like, we have had those reports. I want to be clear to the community. The community should know that if you see something like that is legitimate, that you don't know if someone is law enforcement, you should call 911. And you should provide as much information as possible, because let's not forget, We very recently had tragedy in this state by someone who was purporting to be law enforcement. So please, let's be clear. That's something everyone should report and that we will immediately respond to, and we will document, whether it's somebody's not sure if there's a kidnapping happening, somebody's not sure if there's law enforcement present or not. And that's something else that's additional policy requirements that we are implementing, that we will document and report these types of things anytime that we hear it, and reminding our officers of their duty to intervene. So if there is anything that is, a violation of someone's human rights or civil rights, excessive force or anything like that, they absolutely have a duty to intervene as police officers.
Yo, why are they doing this? You see this guy? Yo, first of all, bro, let's make something clear. Police, SWAT, many different divisions in police, right? Wear a mask. My crib has been raided before. They came in there, masked the fuck up, big ass guns. Big shit. Get the fuck on the ground if I'll blow your shit off. Masked up. This is regular shit. This is nothing new. Why are they trying to make this like, oh, this is like, we never heard of this before. Police with masks on kidnapping people. Get the fuck. Yo, these people crazy. It's just a shame though, man, because like all of these people, I don't really think that this dude believes any of this. I'm gonna be honest. I think he's forced to say it because he needs to pay his bills, bro. I don't believe it, bro. Sorry. Like, why? They don't even go this hard for Americans, bro. I know niggas in the hood right now. They ain't fighting for them. They ain't fighting for them. Trust me. They still getting locked up, going to jail. They ain't kicking down the jails for them. And that's the craziest part. I see all these so-called black leaders out here talking about immigrants, illegal immigrants, not legal immigrants that came here the right way, that did what they had to do to get in this country. Illegal immigrants. They want them here so bad. But I don't see them fighting for the people in their own communities that are killing each other and all types of bullshit. You know what I mean? They ain't telling them to put the guns down. They ain't creating programs for these kids to come to and do something else besides being on the street. Like, come on, man. Stop, bro. These people are clowns, bro. Clowns.
Even though interfering with ICE is a federal crime governed by 18 U.S.C. 111, like we hear Tom Homan constantly quote, not to mention obstructing justice, the congressman representing this district, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, losing her mind over this. It was just last week that she gave that speech bragging that the Somali community is only growing, that they're not going anywhere, that the Trump administration, she said, you can't do anything about it. People now pointing to that speech and saying that she's rubbing our noses in it. This is the same lady, remember, who allegedly married her brother to acquire citizenship, then allegedly used that citizenship to bring more of her family here. If that is true, which we don't know if it is, but if it is, that would be defrauding the U.S. government. If true, she could technically be denaturalized and deported. So again, 1 week after making that speech, today, ICE launching strike teams with other federal agencies to actively conduct widespread enforcement operations targeting and picking up Somali residents across Minneapolis. Ilhan losing it.
He's always been a racist, a bigot, a xenophobic, and Islamophobic. We know that he called African nations a shithole in his first administration. We know that when he came down that escalator, he said he was going to stop Muslim immigration into this country. And so it is not surprising that he is going after black immigrants in this country. And it's certainly not surprising that he's choosing a black immigrant community that is also Muslim. But what I would like to say is that most of us are citizens. On our passport, it says we are nationals of this country. We love that Minnesota has welcomed us. Many of us have not been settled in Minnesota. We chose it as a home because the Minnesota people and the state is beautiful and very welcoming. And we are going to be here regardless of what the president has to say.
Yes, the media, Democrats enraged by Trump's rhetoric vis-a-vis the Somali community, calling it racist, calling all Somalis garbage, they say, is racist. And look, let's be honest, that is a little bit racist, but so what? Personally, I like when Trump speaks like this, if only because it expands the aperture of allowable speech in this country. As we all know, the Overton window the last 5 years got much smaller. During COVID, you could barely speak at all. That's not a free society. So good job, Mr. President. Thank you for speaking your mind. In another story, Tennessee's special congressional election wrapping up last night, the self-proclaimed Democrat socialist Afton Bain losing by 9 points to Republican Matt Van Epps, defeating the AOC of Tennessee, and good riddance.
We are seeing something that at the moment suggests the Republican might hold on to win. Matt Van Epps has just taken the lead. I'll explain why in a minute. And if you look through the map, you could see a progression to where Matt Van Epps can hold on. I can also give you a scenario, though, where the Democrat Afton Bain wins. But the fact that we're talking about this race at 9 o'clock at night in the East on this night, a special election, tells you everything you need to know. Republicans are going to be nervous even if they win this seat, because Matt Van Epps is leading this race right now, but by less than a point. Less than a point, Caitlin. Let's just say he stretches that out a little bit, right? Okay. But just a little more than a year ago, on quaint little day, November 2024, Election Day, Mark Green, the former incumbent in this congressional district, won it by 22 points.
This was the hotly contested special election for Tennessee's 7th District House seat. If Dems had won, it would have made it possible, technically possible, for them to take back control of the House before the midterm elections.
And good thing they didn't, and we appreciate you. My boy RJ Talks, if you're not tapped in, go tap in with him. Fair show. We're about to get into this next story with Brian Maxwell on Gavin Newsome. Yo, listen, bro. This stuff is out of control in America, bro. I just want shit to go back to normal. That's my position. I just need things. I need prices to go down, which they are. Yo, I bought some eggs today, man. I went shopping, right? I don't know if I was seeing things, man, but I paid for some eggs. Them shits was $1 and some change. I said, whoa. Okay, but that's just eggs, though, you know? But things is going down a little bit, you know? It's going to get better in a year, maybe 2. We'll see. But that's all I care about. I need things to go back to normal. I need us to get away from all of these fake ideologies that's plaguing America like crazy, bro. I can't even believe some of the conversations that are happening today, bro. It's just actually kind of insane when you really think about it. And everybody be claiming to be Christians and all of this stuff and Muslim, but they be it don't align. It don't align at all. And I just think it's hypocritical. But we ain't gonna get into religion. Let's get into this next story with Brian Maxwell by Gavin Newsome in California doing a lot of mischief.
What if I told you that the mainstream media and the Democrats have manipulated us again? They played us all again. And you know why and how? They've got us all focused over on Minnesota and Tampon Tim Walz and Ilhan Omar and the Somali community stealing $1 billion. And let's be real, the Democrats don't like Tim Walz. They're pissed off at him. As a matter of fact, they feel he cost them the 2024 election with his flappy hands waving and all of the BS, beta male feminine type of energy that he was giving out, trying to woo men to come and vote. Didn't work. So they keeping us looking over there. You know why? So they could protect their darling, Mr. American Psycho himself, Gavin Newsome. Because over in California, they have exposed and found out that close to $100 billion worth of fraud is taking place in California as we speak, allegedly. And in this video, I've got clips and footage from insiders who lay it out what's going on. And you're going to hear from the White House. And here's why this is very, very important. What's happening in California affects the whole country. The whole gerrymandering thing that they did, where they want to eliminate any Republican ever holding any seat. So there'll be no representation for the 40 to 45% of the people in the state that vote Republican. But we got something for that. James O'Keefe went undercover and got the gentleman who runs the elections in California, okay, in big, heavy areas, cities in California. And what this man reveals, unknowingly on video, he gives the real about what's happening with the gerrymander, what Gavin Newsome doing with the money. It's going to make your jaw drop. So if you thought the Tim Walz story was something, Newsome is worse than Walz. That's the name of this freaking video, worse than walls. So we going to get right into it. I'm going to read this headline. How did California spend billions on homelessness only for it to get worse? 2 criminal cases offer a clue. Now we're going to hear from Steve Hilton. Steve Hilton is an American citizen from the UK, came over to the United States. Very, very wealthy man, and he's running for governor of California. Check this out, then we're going to roll right into the White House.
A few weeks ago, a business owner here in California told me that one of his new employees asked to be paid in cash, not on payroll. Why? The business owner asked. Well, because the employee from Afghanistan was worried that he would lose his welfare payments. How much is that? $7,000 a month. That is $84,000 a year here in California. So when we look at this massive scandal in Minnesota, $1 billion from the social services system in fraud and corruption, you can be sure it is much, much worse right here in California. We already know that over $20 billion in the pandemic from the EDD scandal.
Hold the fuck on. Bro, do you see what I'm saying? What is $7,000-$8,000 a month, bro? Come on, bro. Get out of here, man. It's not one, I don't believe, maybe so. I could be wrong. I don't think no U.S.-born citizens is getting that much money. And he didn't specify whether that is cash assistance or food stamps or both. But either way, bro, that's a lot of money, bro. Maybe as a big family, who knows? But the fact that illegal immigrants are getting this much assistance is wild to me, bro. Wow.
Was sent in welfare payments to people in jail, on death row, people who are dead. We know that over $24 billion was completely lost on homelessness spending. All that money spent, and we still have situations like this all over California, everywhere you look. That's why today I am calling for a complete and total audit of every part of California's bloated welfare state, so we find the corruption and the fraud and the waste in Gavin Newsom's California and end it.
Boom, he lays it out. Now, listen to the White House as they're going to tell you flat out what's going on there in California.
By whom and why? And also, in this vein, does the White House still plan to issue an executive order banning mail-in voting, and what legal authority do you have to do that?
The White House is working on an executive order to strengthen our elections in this country and to ensure that there cannot be blatant fraud, as we've seen in California with their universal mail-in voting system. It's absolutely true that there's fraud in California's elections. It's just a fact. It is just a fact. They have a universal mail-in voting system, which we know is ripe for fraud. And if you want to deny that, I'm happy to provide you all of the evidence for it. I'd be glad to send that to you after this briefing.
Rigged.
Fraudulent ballots that are being mailed in the names of other people, and the names.
Like, why they trying to, she literally told you that it's fraud going on with the elections in California. And I believe across the country, to be honest with you, especially in obviously the major states that is needed for these elections. When she's sitting there telling you, and if you want to deny it, I will be happy to give you the information. But we already know that they have been cheating. And they did it in 2020. And that's why Trump keep denying it, that election. But it's already proof out there. It's video proof. Can't deny it.
Of illegal aliens who shouldn't be voting in American elections. There's countless examples, and we'd be happy to provide them. As for executive action the White House is taking, yes, we are looking into that. And like any executive order, of course, any executive order the president signs is within his full executive authority and within the confines of the law.
Boom. So listen to this breakdown about what's going on with the money and who Gavin Newsom has been sending the money to. It's going to blow your mind when you hear who he's been sending it to.
And I love this part, this clip right here, because this is a woman, I don't know if she's in some type of, a government official capacity or not. I doubt it. But either way, this is like a TikTok video, and she breaks down things. That's what I said about social media now with, YouTube and the Rumble and different platforms where people can do their own research and give you information, pertinent information. Listen to this.
Because how can you be this blatantly corrupt and this blatantly ignorant to do this with thinking nobody would figure it out? Check this out.
Oh, dirty Gavin Newsome, I caught you. So a couple days ago, I had posted about a congressman calling for the investigation of where the fire aid money had gone to. There was a fundraiser that was created and over $100 million was raised towards direct relief to the fire victims in L.A. This letter was sent to Pam Bondi to ask for the investigation of where the funds went. People like Spencer Pratt, this guy has been very loud about the fact that none of the fire victims, including him and his wife, have received any funds. And he came out with a video calling out the fact that it's been discovered that Gavin Newsome and a nonprofit that his wife is tied to took some of the relief funds. And this is where we reveal the shady Newsome. So being who I am, I just don't take anything at a surface level on social media. I decided to go to the Fire Aid website where it does display that a total of 75 million has been given out of the 100 million. And I clicked on round 2. It starts off with this one where it talks about how $700,000 was given for critical information for fire victims. Then when you scroll down, you do see Cal Volunteers, which is an organization that got a grant that took some of the money. I need you to pay attention to the one beneath it that says Center for Nonprofit Management. Remember that. This story started gaining more traction and more coverage started hitting this because you go to Cal Volunteer and you check out the commission. Guess who is the honorary chair? That's right, Jennifer Newsome. Guys, Gavin Newsome's wife. She is the honorary chairman of Cal Volunteer. Decided to go back to the Fire Aid website. And guess what is conveniently missing on the list of people that got grants on round 2? Remember how I told you Center for Nonprofit Management? Below that and above that was Cal Volunteer. But today on the website, if you go search round 1 and round 2, somehow Cal Volunteer disappeared from the list of people that got grants. Now what appears above Center for Nonprofit Management is California Local Conservation Corps. Yes, you can scour through that list. You're not going to find Cal Volunteer on there anymore. What are you hiding, Newsome? We already figured it out that your wife is leading one of the nonprofits that got the grant. So we already know you took the money from the fire victim. You refused to bring voter ID back to get federal funding to the fire victim. So when you're out there on the campaign trail talking about how much you care about Californians, you're lying. We caught you lying. We're stealing from the fire victim. You somehow conveniently got the name deleted off the website. You are trash, Gavin Newsome.
And this is why I will continue to say they don't care about you. All they want to do is continue to rob you. They just want to rob you, bro. They come up with these flamboyant schemes, these nonprofits and things like that, and they funnel money through these things, and it's just facts, bro. It's a lot of stuff going on, but it's a fact that it's a lot of fraud within the government. And it has a lot to do with these shady politicians, man. And it just so happens to be a lot of Democrats. And I'm not saying that ain't Republicans too, because I'm pretty sure there's some shady-ass Republicans too. So I said, bro, these motherfuckers don't care about us, man. They just want to continue to keep taxing the shit out of us, making us pay for dumb shit that, now you can't even go to Wawa and get your groceries, your little drink and chips bag no more. They making us pay for that now. Just all types of stuff, bro. These things add up, man. And it's how they're able to just build. We're talking about so much money, bro. It's actually ridiculous how much taxes we pay as Americans, bro. It's just crazy, man. And then they go and make up an excuse. Oh, we need to go to war. We need to send money to these sick kids in fucking Albania somewhere in a hole in a pit somewhere. Like, so much of this fraud going on, bro, and we just continue, and they keep us, worrying about these mass distractions. My boy, Dave Anderson said it the best. Mass distractions. That's all it is. These Epstein files, war criminal, all of these things that are on these news cycles is just mass distractions to the real agenda, which is getting back the House and the Senate right now. And then it's going to be the 2028 election and how they can formulate a plot to get Trump impeached or something like that. That's their whole game plan. They need to get back in power because they got to continue to scheme, which is robbing you and me, taxpayers, people who pay taxes on a daily basis. When you get your check, I know it disgusts you because it disgusts me. When I look at I don't even look at it no more. Because it just makes me sick how much money they take from us, bro. And it's just fraud, bro. That's fraud in itself that we pay that much in taxes, bro. It's crazy. And then they got the audacity to raise, Joe Biden had the audacity to, make it to where people were raising rent and raising gas prices, raising grocery price, all of these things. Oh, take out the straws, put in paper, take out the bags in the stores. You got to pay for them now. It's like, it's crazy, bro.
If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid, hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app, a super chat, or a donation. You hitting that like button and hitting that hype button really does help the channel. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And once you do, to make sure that YouTube sends you the notification when I upload videos, make sure that you hit the notification bell and select all. When you select all, YouTube will make sure that you get notified when I upload new videos.
Make sure y'all
do
that.
As you can see, this man, he just doesn't care. Now check this out.
And also hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button for your boy. Appreciate you.
Even more fraud that they're exposing.
A massive investigation has uncovered that California may have committed major fraud against the U.S. government by exploiting this complicated loophole that's allowed them to steal billions in federal taxpayer funds. One of the largest and most convoluted schemes in modern history has been discovered during a review of California's medical financial records. Investigators found that under Gavin Newsome's leadership, the Golden State has essentially been funneling taxpayer money from all across America to prop up California's own finances. The ingenious plan started in 2022, and it revolves around the complex concept of intergovernmental transfers, which in simple terms is when a local hospital or county makes a transfer to the state Medicaid agency for payments of medical services such as ambulance rides. After the transfers are made, the state can then request a matching amount of money from the federal government, but Newsome's California abused this system by raising the price of a simple ambulance ride by nearly 300%, and then once the local hospitals made the transfer to the state and the state received the matching funds from the federal government, they then instead paid a private ambulance service which cost only a fraction of the original price, pocketing the difference. But the thing is, this is all legal and the government must find a way to close this loophole.
Nice.
Again.
Hey, yo, they nice, bro. I gotta give it to them, bro. These is elaborate schemes, bro. Elaborate. I gotta give it to them, bro. They're very good. They're very good, bro. And that's the thing, man. A lot of the stuff that they be doing, technically, it be legal shit, right? It's not really illegal, but, we know that, bro, there is so much fraud, bro. Like I said before about, them, these special projects that they be doing, and they overpay for every single thing. Man, come on, bro. Stop. And they get budgets. And I remember Cash Patel saying something like he was like the only one that ever gave back money that he still had, I guess, at the end of the fiscal year or whatever the case may be. Not sure every detail on it, but I remember him saying that he gave the money back. He said they never give the money back. These budgets, they make sure they get used however they can. And basically, Gavin Newsom came up with a scheme and overpriced these ambulance rides and had a private ambulance. This to be elaborate schemes. I give it to him.
In our country blind. Now, in the meantime, look at this. Gavin Newsome's new $9.1 million mansion as he relocates his family from California's capital to one of the wealthiest areas in the United States. Does that surprise you? Because it shouldn't. Now, in this next clip.
I know that shit beautiful as hell, though. Dang.
You heard them talking about Gavin Newsome's wife and getting that money. Here's a real in-depth breakdown of how it worked out and how he's been funneling billions, allegedly, to be able to, create his own campaigns and help out those that he cares about while funneling millions to his wife nonprofit. Check this out.
On this week's Waste of the Week, California Governor Gavin Newsom has pushed for billions of dollars in state funding to benefit the policy agenda of his wife. Joining us this morning with the details, founder of OpenTheBooks.com, Adam N.G.L.A. Adam, welcome back to the National Desk. Good to see you. So in 2019, Governor Newsom built an office for his wife. It was called the Office of the First Partner, which included 9 staff members. Almost $5 million in funding was given to that. What did he say was the intention behind building this office? And do other states have anything similar?
So in 2019, when Governor Newsom was elected in California, right away, for the first time in state history, he created this Office of First Partner. And in his press release, he expressly tells us why he did it, essentially to bring taxpayer funding behind her issue advocacy platform. So it was started, obviously, in 2019. It had 7 staffers, an annual budget of around $800,000. That budget has grown. Today, it's almost $1.2 million per year, and the number of staffers has grown as well to 9. Now, we looked across the other states. We're not aware of this office for the spouse in any other state, but certainly, Jan, at the federal level, we have the First Lady of the United States. And it's common practice on the White House payroll to put staffers behind the First Lady. For example, in 2017, Melania Trump had a staff of 5. Jill Biden had a staff of 12. And so in California, you've got the first partner. She's got a staff of 9.
Right now is the open enrollment period for healthcare, which is why I want to take a moment to give a shout out to the sponsor of this video and plans available.
So this is not uncommon then on the federal level, as you mentioned before. This goes a little bit deeper, though, because his wife also heads numerous organizations, one being a nonprofit called the Representation Project, another being a for-profit film production company, Girls Club Entertainment. She's an actress. She's a filmmaker. She writes and directs gender identity films. And then California public schools pay her a licensing fee to play those films in class. Is that what I'm understanding? How does this work?
You've got a good understanding of that, Jan. And I think the Newsomes would say that this is a virtual circle. But I'm from Illinois. We're very familiar with pay-to-play schemes, and this looks like legalizing pay-to-play. I want to give you a recent example of how this works. So Jennifer Siebel Newsome, she's a big advocate of additional school counselors in the K-12 public schools, and she convinced her husband, and the husband convinced the state legislature last summer, and they provided billions of dollars into the K-12 schools in California to hire up to 10,000 additional school counselors. This was not lost on the president of the Association of California School Counselors, who thanked the governor for the additional funding and then said that those additional school counselors would need films and curriculum from Jennifer Siebel Newsome, and they look forward to working with her to show those in the schools. When the schools show those films of the Newsome nonprofit in the schools, her nonprofit reaps a license fee. They make money on it. And if they do this, if the school counselors show these films, oh, by the way, when the governor was elected in 2019, his administration, through the California Board of Education, issued guidance to the schools saying that they can show those films from Siebel Newsome's nonprofit in the California schools. So this is a virtual cycle, but it looks like pay to play to us.
And I read she also has curriculum that pushes students into political and social activism, and that several movies even promote her husband. Is this all on the taxpayer dime? How much has her film production company profited from this?
This is crazy.
So she has a for-profit film production company, and over the course of the last 10 years, it's contracted with her nonprofit company to the tune of $1.6 million. The nonprofits also paid Jennifer Siebel Newsome $1.5 million in salary over the course of the last decade. So if you do the math, she's profited for over $3 million from the nonprofit to the